Welcome back, Heathen. Welcome. What are you saying?
Welcome.
There? Welcome.
Welcome. Welcome.
Welcome. Say welcome.
There's not even.
Welcome. Stop it. There's not even an H in that one.
Okay. Yeah. I opened it with my asshole, though.
Wait, you opened what with your asshole?
The ninth gate.
Absolutely.
He opened the ninth gate with his asshole.
Absolutely. And when I did, I met Johnny Depp.
At the end of the movie at the end of the movie. No, at the end of the movie where Johnny Depp's walking back into the castle, it's because he remembered Casey's assholes.
That's right. That's right.
Oh,
that's right. And that's where I got, and that's how I got that sign, that autograph. And he remembered. He's like, "Hey, man, I got this this signed and framed copy of my face that I always
Casey
carry
found
around."
that on the pillow in the morning, because Johnny
actually,
had to catch an early flight.
That was the first time. I actually said, "Hey, Johnny, remember it's me. You already gave me one of these." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm sorry. This just happens so often. I always come prepared." And that was the second time I met Johnny Depp.
I thought it was whenever he was a kid and he would lose his teeth, and he put his teeth under there, and instead of money, you got the signed picture of Johnny Depp.
I was wondering where you were going with that.
and on that note, welcome back, Heathens.
Welcome back to the Heavy Breathing Heathens Macabrecast, episode 4, episode Quattro.
Right.
We are.
Next episode, we get to hold up a whole hand.
Oh my God! Yeah, it won't be one of ours. It might be. It might be a used monkey's fist.
Right. Next episode, we officially have to make a decision before the show starts. Which hand?
Yeah, we actually had to use. We had to use all almost all the fingers except for one of this monkey's paw that we have just to get this this whole podcast up and running. But we're hoping. I'm holding on to that last finger just in case one day I come down with erectile dysfunction. Today. We are coming to you with a very fun episode, one that I've been looking forward to doing for a long time. We are doing Deranged Killers from the Old West, Deranged from the Range.
Right. Now, of course, to differentiate ourselves from the subject, that is, we are Casey Ross, and I am Rookery T, and our intrepid engineer, who is keeping his feet away from the plug, Christian.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God, Christian! I swear to God, if we're halfway through this fucking show and this thing just happens to go boo, I am going to use you like a tauntaun in the winter.
I thought you were going to say use me like a toilet, and I'm like, wouldn't be the first time.
But we don't have Stallone's glass table. Did we talk about that on the last episode?
No, I think we're saving that for the Ron Jeremy Memorial episode.
Oh, absolutely. But, when we talk about when we went at the 30-year anniversary of that show that we were just that movie that we were just talking about. What was it?
Right.
What was it?
One-Eyed Monster. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. But no, this episode.
Dead rotting corpse of Ron Jeremy's penis.
Oh Jesus Christ! Yeah, it's gonna be hanging out in a box just like fucking
like
Napoleon's dick.
But no,
or Rasputin's.
That's all right, folks. We're not don't need to pull over. We're not doing that this episode.
No, but speaking of taxidermy dicks, there are very famous taxidermy dicks. We'll go into a whole episode later at another day on famous taxidermy dicks.
Foam brick for when you guys are like straying too far away.
We really should. We really should.
So we're talking about what again?
We are talking about the Deranged from the Range.
Oh yeah. Okay, so killers of the Old West. Now here's the thing. Here's why I like
women
this.
and sex is all strange.
Here's why I liked this episode, because it is true that if you talk to people about the Old West or ask them about cowboys and shit, 9 out of every 10 words that fall out of their head are going to be generational memories from John Wayne movies.
Oh my God, yeah.
The reality of
Feel
the
your
West,
hand, you son of a bitch.
The reality of the West is that 9 out of every 10 cowboys were either black or Mexican. And, this white cowboy culture did not exist. However, what did exist, like America's great legacy to the West, I have to say, was some of the worst, most deranged monsters ever to stalk the land. God. I mean, now these are things that did happen.
Oh, absolutely. And this happened before even the term serial killer was even created. So they didn't even have a word for this kind of stuff. The serial killer wasn't even coined until I think Peter Curtin in the 1930s in Germany or something like that, and they had a different word for it. But back like at this time, it was just business as usual. Like this is just the stories that you heard, and a lot of the time these stories were true. It was very one of the things that's hot right now is Red Dead Redemption, and it's full of just terrible horror stories of people like cannibalizing and stuff. And everybody thinks it's all fucking fun and games, but that was every day in the West. That was the West raped the shit out of you. It fucking stripped you from head to toe. There was fucking Indians that would fucking put you inside of a cow skin and set you over a fucking fire to boil to death.
And and in fact, you're right about the coining of the term serial killer. I read that too with the Dutch investigator.
Yeah. But they got too fat to work.
That said, like, because he did coin that in like the mid 20th century or whatever. But that said, there is relevant to this theme. The term America's first serial killer were the Harp brothers. We were talking about them earlier.
Yeah.
And I think we if you wanted to continue this theme into another episode, we could go back and pick up the Harp brothers because they were notable. They are recognized as America's first serial killers.
Yeah, well, they're from the Great Frontier time, and again, but this is the thing. Everybody.
Well, no. Now, see, frontier's a loaded word, and we do want to delineate.
Yeah, okay.
Originally, we are talking about the Western frontier. So this is any time between, I would say, roughly 1780s up to about 1880s. Actually,
well,
that
you
century
could even bring
right
it up
in
almost
there.
to because cowboys in fucking
1780s to 1880s was that golden century.
Oh yeah.
When you got the original lawless, unmapped frontier.
Everything was Tijuana.
Now the Harp brothers were actually their era is the Revolutionary War. They fought for the British in the Revolution. But the reason they're relevant is because after the Revolutionary War, they were one of the first in the frontier before the Old West came, before the West became a thing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And they opened the way.
And
for,
one of the things is that what I think that a lot of our listeners aren't going to understand is that the reason that these guys, what we have here, and why we are going to keep coming back to this subject and doing other episodes of these guys from the Western frontier is because for you to be notified as a killer or a murderer, you had to do something extremely deranged or something extremely messed up to be known for it, because everybody fucking killed somebody in the Wild West. It was so fucking...
No, the guy I have tonight...
Same, too. That's why the Harps are so bad.
The guy I have tonight, repeatedly found employment, and he repeatedly found shelter in various communities after, well into his career of murder and theft and degeneracy. So it was, and there's a couple of notes in what I found tonight where it says that a lot of the camps this guy wound up in, they put up with a lot of shit he did, and then he must have done something so horrible even those miners couldn't stand it, so they kicked him out.
Right.
I mean, you really
Tom's kind of funny, but he's a little weird.
Yeah, right. Hey, look, everybody does that to a cow once in a while, okay? Right. But now that dude over there, we just couldn't stand him. You really
coming in my boots for the third day in a row. It's not even funny anymore, Tom.
But I'll still let him stick around as long as he don't beat me at horseshoes. But that dude over there, what he did to that corpse the other night, you really had to be funny. Brutal. And there was a line in the sand that even the frontier people would draw. And so these are notable and absolutely true episodes of just human filth in the founding of America.
In
these
the
are
best way, man.
Yeah,
I mean, like this is why
this is in those good young days when America was free.
Oh my God! Yeah, see, and this is why we glorify. This is why we glorify the past, because every single one of us has that little part of us that's just like, oh my God, what I would kill to just go to Walmart with a fucking AK and just because everybody has that. Anybody that glorifies the old West,
or
we
somebody,
all have that.
Or somebody
that
who
part.
says
we just choose to ignore it.
Or somebody who says, "Oh no, I'd have loved to live back then." You know those times that John Wayne was portraying in his movies, and when life was like that,
when a man was a man, and a man could love another man,
right,
and not be. And a man could be a woman and get money for that, because men, because
you gotta have a living.
Right. That's right. That's right.
Now
Tom does good carpentry work, but he sucks a mean dick.
Now, when people talk about that, that never really existed. What we're going to talk about tonight, I would totally have lived back next door to the Kentucky Cannibal. I would have lived next door to this dude.
You got to be fucking kidding me.
We will talk about the time that did exist. And yeah, believe me, it's like, don't yearn for the old West that John Wayne was in, because just wait till you hear what it was really like.
Oh my goodness, it was a whole bunch of cornholing. If you want to get a good, a good load of cornholing. A couple good movies that are great to see how gritty the West really was. Watch just on Netflix alone. These are some good ones. Watch Slow West. Watch The Hateful Eight. Watch even The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. That one that just came out from the Coen brothers. It shows that one even shows some decent stuff. If you got Hulu, check out what is it? What was it? Outlaws and Angels.
Oh no,
Outlaws
I've got one though.
There's a man that gets cornholed with a fistful of chicken fat.
No, I've got one though. Okay, so if people want to know what period we're talking about, here's one I can throw out a good reference.
Right, I'm your Huckleberry.
So on Netflix, there's a show called Hell on Wheels.
Oh yeah,
and it's this really brilliantly written drama about this educated Confederate officer who had fought in the Civil War, and after the war in Reconstruction, when America's building the Transcontinental Railroad, it was a time when anybody and everybody could get work going out there and living on the prairie. And you lived in this moving base camp as they built the railroad. And it's a wonderful show. The performances are amazing, and it's a beautiful look at this unique time when there was just no order and nothing but what you could make in America. And here's the best part about the show and this era that we're talking about. On this show, it is impossible to like anybody. Everybody on this show is a greedy, evil, vicious, bloodthirsty pile of shit.
The one person I actually fucking liked, and it was simply just because he started out as an all-around good man, and life just fucked him at every which way, and that was good Mr. Tor Gunderson.
No, I knew you were going to say the Swede. No. He was one of the best.
Norwegian.
He was one of the best actors on the show, but I'll tell you what. And this is a spoiler, folks. I'm sorry, but I'm going to say it. Towards the end of the series, I was just crying because I wanted him to die so bad.
I did too.
I was like, that is the most evil piece of shit that ever walked the land. But
he had such optimism in the beginning. Like when he was a
he
Union
understood.
soldier.
He understood exactly how that frontier worked and exactly how you survived.
Dude, his own fucking brothers ate him when they were in prison. He woke up to one of his friends gnawing on him.
Right.
It was fucking
And then
crazy.
he went and he was a Mormon elder for like 6 months.
Oh my God.
And
kills him. Spoiler
and he
alert.
talked with that American accent and the dude was unbelievable.
I'm the great bishop.
So anyway, this show, Hell on Wheels, this show
grew a great fucking beard. You know, he that same actor is actually on a TV show right now that's based in the Great Depression area called Damnation, which is also on Netflix right now.
So
we need to call them, dude. We've plugged them so much.
What we're saying is this show, Hell on Wheels, is exactly this Old West frontier period. when in America, when it was after the Civil War, and it was a time when America was just getting laid down. And instead of cowboys and Indians and all that heroic shit, no, this is what was really going on.
Oh my God! Yeah.
The Donner Party, and
if you think, when you see, I don't think Gene Autry ever slapped a woman or anything like that. But when you see a man slap a woman in an old black and white movie to calm her down, and you get upset by that, man, crack a history book.
Did you ever see that movie Ravenous?
No.
With Guy Pearce. You know the Australian actor Guy Pearce, right?
Yeah.
So he's in this movie Ravenous, and it's all about these soldiers, these Union soldiers at the farthest frontier fort, out in the middle of nowhere, and it's where they run out of food and cannibalism starts to happen and stuff. And Robert Carlyle's in it, and he plays this weird trapper who's, and they're all a bunch of like cannibals, and there's these great dark comic performances from like Jeffrey Jones, the guy, the pedo who went, Jeffrey Jones. He's in this movie.
The gentleman from the past.
They're sitting down to a stew made from one of the officers. And Jeffrey Jones goes.
Like, are we talking about Hannibal Lecter style, or are we talking about the guy who just an officer just made it?
No. They one of the officers died, and they chopped him up and put him in this stew, and Jeffrey Jones is sitting down with this bowl, and there's a couple of people horrified. They can't. I'm not eating that. And Jeffrey Jones is like, no, isn't this civilized? He's sitting down to a stew made from the guy.
Oh, I would be.
You perfect ironic humor,
dude. I would be cracking jokes the whole fucking time. I'm sorry, but the only thing that can help you get through the darkest times is humor. Right. I mean, like I would be that one guy that's riding the elevator at the fucking World Trade Center, being like, "Wow, we're gonna make it to the ground floor real quick. We're gonna save a lot of time, guys. I might be able to grab some Pinkberry before I got to make my yoga class."
Well, and so the thing to remember though is that in this period of Western America, like this was not just stories people told. Like people talked about this because this shit happened. Like cannibalism happened, and like murder and serial death,
very common.
When in the gold rush, and we're talking like 1849, 1850, when people were crisscrossing the country because of gold in California. They had already been going up to Canada, to the Yukon, for an earlier gold rush. You got up there in the mountains, and you would be traveling there in the winter time, and you do not go through the mountains in the winter. You're sitting where you're at, and people run out of food and they start eating each other, man. It happens. All of that weird Western Gothic stuff.
Hezekiah, I got to tell you, it's mighty cold up here. We've already ate most of our furs.
Next thing you know, a bear comes along and rapes the shit out of you before you eat your trail.
At least I'm not cold anymore.
Right.
Well, I was gonna suggest that me and Hezekiah spoon for warmth. But
on the other hand, if the bear rapes you, you'll probably get an Oscar for it back at the fort. At least there's that. If you can make it back to the fort, they'll have an Oscar for you.
God, I'll never let go, Rose.
Yeah, that's never for you good heathens who like to get out and watch movies. That's
so long. I wonder if the bear's name was Harvey.
Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah. Yeah, he actually owns a nightclub in the lower part of Manhattan.
Is it a bear club?
Yeah.
A bear club. It's a bare-naked girls every night.
Bare-naked girls?
No, it's called the Bare Necessities.
Right. Those girls, those aren't girls. They all have names like Beaver, fucking Cleavage to Beaver and stuff like that.
Cleavage to Beaver.
And Misdirection and stuff.
Oh, wow. Wow. So what? Yeah, but who was it you were talking about that got you onto this anyway? Because wasn't it one of the cowboys? It was like, it was the guy who rode with Butch and Sundance, right? It was that dude, Harvey. What's his name? I can't even remember his name now.
One of the guys that I picked out.
Yeah, because we were talking about him. He was the guy.
I didn't pick one of them. I wanted to save him for another episode. Now he was more a part of the guys that were gunslingers, and for some reason, a lot of guys go off and they separate these serial killers from the gunslingers. And yeah, you know what? These guys may have been glorified in the Wild West and a lot of Western movies, but these were still people that killed people on a regular basis, and that's what they were known and glorified for. And not just that, wherever they went, there was always somebody else. Like, that was almost everybody's fucking favorite hobby in the West. It'd just be like, no, I'm faster than you. Now, you think you're faster than me?
No, it's this guy, Harvey Logan. Okay, it's Harvey Logan is the guy who you look at this dude. He looks like he just stepped out of the barbershop.
Yeah, also known as Kid Curry.
He looks like the bank clerk who just got his mustache waxed.
Oh, God, yeah, big old walrus mustache. And big H.H. Holmes mustache.
And this is the guy who not only rode with Butch Cassidy and Sundance, when they did the Newman Redford movie, this guy was the model, was what they based Robert Redford's character on.
That's right.
Sundance.
Yeah.
This guy is like, this is what the script writers used, Harvey Logan. And you look at this dude, and he doesn't even look like he hits women. And this dude slaughtered people.
You never expect this guy to hit women.
No, he doesn't even look like he smacks women around. And this guy slaughtered people across the West.
That's probably why it was why he got such a high body count, because everybody's like, hey, you mind coming out to my carriage with me?
Yeah, right.
I got all these elixirs, and I have tonics and lotions and ointments that I have to maybe even talk to the. I don't know why I'm starting to slowly slip into like. Fucking
I don't know, dude, but I mean, these are the kind of people we're talking about. You mind helping me with
my luggage?
Right. So I thought Harvey Logan was the guy that you had started thinking about,
No, Harvey Logan, no. That was definitely one of the ones that I wanted to save, or that I wanted to do. But the two that I actually got two that I got kind of trapped by. There's so many that I have here. I literally have several dozen names here of people that I've researched over the last couple days. But out of the few that I found, I wanted to do a family kind of thing, because I wanted to have a family show.
Oh yeah,
so I thought that I would cover a couple of families that I thought that were
family
quite
that slays together stays together.
That's right, and they also stay well fed.
Yeah, long pork.
It's family time with the Heathens.
Right. We just had.
Oh my God!
We just had Thanksgiving, and now
can we get the Family Feud theme to go?
Yeah.
Who's ready for some awkward touching?
Oh yeah. Everybody hungry? Get you a piece.
How you doing, Mrs. Longhorn? How's that? What's that tongue taste like?
Right. Get you some long pork.
Who's this? Your daughter? How you doing? Welcome to the show.
Yeah. No, I've read about a couple of these whole families though that really made a business out of this.
Oh man, if you think the Firefly fan, where do you think people get? You see all these movies that we see nowadays. Where do you think like people get the ideas for stuff like the Firefly family from House of a Thousand Corpses?
Right? Or Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah, these were all the Hills Have Eyes. They were based off of the Bean family.
Yeah,
in
the Scotland.
Sawyer
Bean clan. Yep.
Oh my God, those guys were fucking
crazy.
The
Beans. I love reading about
we
those.
only go to town to water down the gene pool a little bit.
No, they were literally like...
They wouldn't talk like that.
They were literally a clan that they were just smart enough to communicate with people, but otherwise... They had completely gone feral. They were like, fuck society.
No, absolutely. They are literally what dreams are made of. Or what nightmares are made of.
They lived in...
dreams are made of. They lived in a cave.
The king and his personal army had to go drag them out of their cave, and they were where they lived like wolves. And they... the Bean clan, man, they weren't fucking around.
Now, speaking of cave, and speaking towards the harps that we were talking about earlier, do you know that the cave that they used to live in is now known as the Juggalo Gathering Spot?
Oh, is that Mammoth Cave, Kentucky?
That's the gathering of the Juggalos.
Yeah, I noticed that was Mammoth Cave, right.
Yeah, I thought that was funny.
So what family? You weren't doing the Bean Clan though.
No, I was not doing the Bean Clan. As a matter of fact, I think the first one that I'm going to go off and get into is one that's kind of a. It's kind of Oh, I actually just got a message from Bubba Garrett. He was going to show up on the show today, but apparently he's not feeling too good. He's been spent the day sleeping. But it's all right, man. If you guys, we're going to go ahead and give a shout out to Bubba Garrett real quick. If you guys haven't heard his stuff, he started coming out with some music of his own just lately, and he's getting real good with the writing that he's doing. And we're going to have him on the show here real soon. We're going to actually record a song for him. But back to what I was going to be covering. I was going to do the Bloody Benders.
Oh, yeah, the Benders.
The Bloody Benders. Oh, the Bloody Benders. Yeah,
the Bloody Bender Bunch.
Oh, no, the Bloody
Bender Bunch.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. We need to write that song.
Imagine the painting American Gothic. Okay. And then add two more people to that look just, but like malnourished. Like if the people that posed for American Gothic looked like fucking skinwalkers.
Yeah, but a really honest, a really sincere family portrait, though.
Absolutely, yeah, they did.
They thought they were good people.
No, they were actually a whole family of serial killers, and this happened over in Kansas, and I believe this was Labette County. I don't know, but this was during the time from 1871 to 1873 was when they were suspected that most of their activities was going on at this point. Now, we only know of 11, maybe 12 murders that they did, but that's the only ones that we can confirm. And as we know, back in 1870s, we didn't necessarily have fucking Horatio Caine running around fucking solving murders. So we don't necessarily know what was going on at the time.
The Benders got away with what they did.
Oh, yeah.
And they were never brought to justice for this.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about the Benders.
But the thing is, I was just looking at some of that material in Kansas. They have like a historical site and a marker where the Bender house was.
You gotta be kidding me.
No, I'm sure of it. I was just looking at it. There's wherever this happened, or there's some kind of like informational plaque or some kind of, there is a, or maybe a museum thing or something like that. But there was somebody who put up, I think, like an exact replica of what their house was supposed to be and stuff.
That's crazy, because the thing about their house was that underneath the bed, when the authorities finally stormed their house and went looking for them, they found no. Now this is kind of weird. This is going to be like a Quentin Tarantino movie. I'm going to tell you the end before I even get to what these guys originally did.
Right.
So when they stormed these people's houses, they came up. They found an apple orchard. They found some, I think, corn or some other kind of field. There was no food, clothes, or personal possessions inside the home. There was no people. They had no idea where anybody had gone, but they smelled a strong stench of decay inside of the building, man. So when they went searching around, they found underneath the bed that there was a trap door, and the trap door had been nailed shut. When they opened the door, they had found a stone slab. They found a 6 by 7 foot room that was 6 foot deep underneath the bed.
Yeah.
That the floor and walls were coated in dried blood, and that's where all the smell came from. Because at the bottom of the room there was a stone floor, and they chipped the stone floor up looking for more bodies, and they didn't find any in there.
Right.
But they did find them underneath the apple orchard and underneath the corn. There's people in the corn.
People in the corn.
Soylent corn is people.
No, and they did kill children too. I think they killed a couple of kids.
They actually found.
And
they found a girl. That was. Was that what you were getting ready to go for?
Well, yeah, because I know it was the whole family. Like there was this very pretty young daughter, Kate Bender, who was sort of the public face. She would lure people. She would lure young men to the house, Or
see, I didn't hear about.
She
Kate.
would. Kate Bender.
No. Yeah. Kate was the
one who was kind of
daughter.
pretty, and when there was a young, robust man in the area, and if he ever happened to run across her, she would make sure he found his way out to the house. And then
she was around 23 years old, I believe, when all this was going on.
Right, and Kate Bender would bring a guest back to the house, and you'd go in their house, and there'd be the dinner table right there. And there was a seat on the far side of the table. At the far head of the table, there was a chair. The Benders liked to make sure their guests sat down in that chair. That's right.
It wasn't a sheet. It was actually the canvas from a wagon.
Yeah, there was
separated the two rooms
hung
in
up
the
this
cabin.
Canvas as a curtain behind their dinner table,
kind of like
separating
what you would see
the rest of the house.
Kind of like what you see in a flop house when you go down in the basement and there's 20 dudes living in the basement. They usually hang up tapestries so that way they can mark off their own area.
Right. Well, the guest would sit down in front of this canvas, and on the other side, the brothers, the Bender brothers, the father and the son of the Bender family would see the guest's head, the silhouette. And they would just cold cock the guest from the other side of the curtain. Then they actually had
swing for the fences.
They actually had a trap door right there where the guest was sitting, and they would just dump them like fucking Sweeney Todd right down into the basement room. And so, and as a matter of fact, there is a story about.
Would you like a hot pocket?
I didn't pull up the Bender stuff. I didn't pull up the Bender stuff, but I did read a story about. There was a notable episode where the Benders had a dinner guest.
Yeah.
Who, for some reason, just smelled a rat, or he just didn't want to sit in this chair they were trying to herd him into. So he refused to sit there, and for the rest of the night, Ma Bender was all pissed off and abusive toward him.
Elvira Bender, and she was, she was very
he got away. That guy wound up leaving the house. What
had happened, that's actually one of the things that I was going to get into, and this is one of the reasons that actually led to their demise was because of this one person that got away. And it was Elvira Bender. Elvira. Papa, mow,
long pork's cooking. Giggity. Yeah.
Oh, God. Well, Elvira and John Bender were apparently both German immigrants. Apparently, they were all German immigrants, but John Bender apparently didn't speak English. Elvira did, but whenever she was coaxed by authorities at one point, she had at an earlier date for a different occurrence, she had quoted that she didn't speak English. Apparently, as a matter of fact, none of them are related. Right. Kate Bender and John Bender Jr. They might not even be related by them at all. They might have just been a complete ruse. But you were right. That one person.
He's not related to the John Bender in the Breakfast Club either.
No. That would be pretty cool, though. Why is it every time I walk through a football field, I just want to put my hand up in the air with.
Don't you forget about
me. That's right.
Baby.
With wearing a glove with no fingers. But when they were in this one person that had came there, when he wouldn't sit in the chair. Elvira got real upset. It was like, no, you get in this chair. You fucking get in the chair. And then when it actually turned into a scuffle.
Don't give it away there, Elvira.
Right. It turned into a scuffle, and when when John and John Jr. heard it on the other side of the canvas, the wagon canvas, they came around and they all got into a scuffle. Somehow, dude wound up getting away.
Right. Yeah, because, they just spoiled it right there. It's like, geez, Elvira.
Yeah.
Why don't you...
Yeah.
Talk about, have you never played the long game, Elvira? Okay, he won't sit in the fucking chair, so we feed him and he conks out tonight. Big deal.
Right, he's going to stay anyway.
Look,
he can't be awake forever.
That's like, Elvira was basically...
What's that you cooking there? I've never smelled.
No, Elvira was basically Farva.
Farva?
That's who
my
Elvira
God.
is. Dude, it's Farva, right?
I want a goddamn liter of cola.
Right, goddamn
liter of fucking
cola.
Chair.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's the one in the room who just doesn't get it. It's like, shut up. Yeah. So one guy got away.
Where's Kate? Where's Kate when all this is happening?
What? No, man. Like
is Kate just back in the town?
Now,
okay, I don't want to be around for the. Just let me know when dinner's done.
Now, see the Benders. Like I said, I didn't have them pulled up, but the Benders, like they did lure just like other wayward travelers, people crossing the country for the gold rush and stuff like that. I mean, you got to remember, the Benders are out there in Kansas. And they've got themselves a nice homestead with nice few buildings or whatever out there. Mm-hmm. And this is a culture where any random, shit splat happens to be crossing the territory, by any means, they might stop at your place, sleep in your barn, whatever. I mean, people,
and John was kind of what they classify as a half-wit. He wasn't all there. He wasn't he was about as smart as a bag of hammers, is what a lot of people would say.
Dude, this is a national culture where you're just crossing the country and you're just setting out for somewhere 800 miles west, and you're going to stop the night.
Now, a funny thing, one thing that I didn't want to talk about was about Kate. Kate Bender was apparently into spiritualism. She was. Oh yeah. Yeah. She classified herself as a psychic. She would even hold seances, and she gained a lot of attention for spreading the word of free love.
Sure.
Yeah. And
free love.
Yeah. Huh? She was also
frontier hippie.
She's got some kind of frontier cannibalistic murdering hippie.
Right.
See, that's what people don't tell you, is that all hippies are fucking murderous cannibals.
Right.
They're all murdering cannibals, and that's
the hippies. That free love is just to get your guard down. Next thing you know, you're long peg.
That's right. That's right. All those whenever you parents. Keep your kids away from festivals. Don't let them go to Chakula or whatever the fuck it's called these days. Coachella. Fucking don't let them go to Bonnaroo. Don't let them go to the Rainbow with the Rainbow family.
Free love put a big damn
although I'm sorry.
Did it?
Hey, I'm sorry. I'm going to say from my personal.
Why would I pay for Wendy when I can just go fuck Katie's sopping hole?
Hey,
I don't think that thing ever dries up.
Back then, the name wouldn't be Katie; it would be Whispering Willows sopping hole.
I'm sorry, but the one hippie fest I will endorse is the Burn. Okay, Burning Man and all of the regional burns. I have done this without being eaten.
You was talking about the burn.
You're talking about you feel the burn.
You know what? You do feel the burn.
I do.
When you
I
go
bet
there,
you do.
When
I bet you do, especially when you pee.
Yeah, right. Well, no. See, the smart burners don't get that, but that's another show.
For 3 days when
that's another
home,
show.
I really felt the burn.
No, that's the Rainbow guys. I've heard. That's
the Rainbow family. I don't know what's going on.
I've heard the Rainbowers. It's like, hey, it's a real cool idea. Well, they roll into a national forest and just set up their own plumbing and water and shit, and then I keep hearing people are in the hospital with dysentery. Okay,
and prolapsed anuses.
I was about to say their own plumbing and water is each other's mouth.
The Italian stallion. Sorry.
But no, Kate Bender, getting back to Kate Bender did make a tidy side living with the spiritualism and
she did, and hold seances.
And I'm sure that's also how they got people to sit in the chair. Okay.
Why couldn't they do it that way?
Seance. The table's shaking. Oh, bam! Out you go. Yeah.
Oh, I see death in your future.
Right, I see death right behind you, motherfucker. Yeah.
Actually, she was German, so I believe I see death in your future.
I see death
in your very near future. Would you like
creeping ever nearer,
closer and closer,
closer to the curtain? I mean the curtain of night. So
would you like a Schnitzengruben?
But anyway, the climax of this giggity, for this family was pretty bizarre too. I think they're. Because the town was getting ready to go after the Benders, I thought.
Yeah, they were pretty. They did some pretty.
I think the town went out there and found that the Bender farm had been abandoned or something, and I think they found a couple of bodies in the fire or some shit.
They found bodies in the fireplaces.
They thought that it was Ma Bender, but later I thought I had heard that there was a later controversy that maybe she had lived and we weren't. I don't know.
Well, apparently they found most of the bodies out in their 2-acre vegetable garden.
That was their victims. Yeah,
yeah. But there was also the child of a girl that was found out in there, and or the body of a child that was out in there. They didn't know how she was killed because it didn't seem like there was any like kind of puncture wounds or any kind of bludgeoning to the head or anything. So they assumed that they either A, strangled her and then threw her in the pit, or they buried her alive.
Was she buried in the corn?
She was buried in the corn.
Buried in the
corn. Yeah, here we go.
She
would be the child of the corn.
With he who walks behind the rose.
That's right.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. Every time I drive through Iowa, it just makes my fucking butthole pucker.
Right, or Nebraska. Fucking Nebraska.
Anything that's just fucking flat and makes you want to kill
Children
yourself.
of the Corn was Nebraska, too. That
was that Nebraska?
Yeah, that was
it Hezekiah
deep in the aimless heart of Nebraska.
Jedediah?
So yeah, the Benders, that's like this really nasty bunch that made their homestead on the prairie. So this guy I looked up, I love this dude, and yes, I'm saying that in this sardonic, postmodern, cynical way I just love this dude. Okay.
Oh, are we getting into?
But because I was saying the Benders, that was one way of life during that period was that you could be this.
Yeah, just hit him with the fucking head with the sledgehammer, slit their throat, and drop him down the fucking hole.
You could be the spider that would wait for the flies to trip on your web. Now, the other kind of people you can be, like the Hart brothers, are the predators who are crisscrossing the land, and...
Yeah, these guys are definitely...
These guys, like, I'm telling you what, man, like, you can have Hannibal Lecter, because I guarantee you none of these guys were as smart as Hannibal Lecter. It didn't fucking matter. Okay, these guys were not only the worst piece of work you ever heard of, but you're talking about a time when America didn't have a population. There were no settlements. There was no infrastructure to even keep track of people walking across the territories. And if they weren't killed by Indians, then they were murdering people wherever they stopped.
Oh, okay? Absolutely.
So there's this good old boy here from deep in the heart, Levi Boone Helm. Okay?
Oh, I love this guy.
Lived during the absolute heyday of the American frontier. He born 1828, died 1864. Okay, so
1864. So the same year that the Civil War ended.
Right,
when
right.
This guy died.
A year
War,
right?
A year before the Civil War.
So Levi Boone Helm was again a mountain man and gunfighter of the American West. So basically, it means he was nobody, and he lived by his own devices and his own wits. He later became famous as the Kentucky Cannibal.
Yeah.
Right, and I mean, that's the first time I've heard of somebody being referenced for the state of Kentucky and for this kind of fame. So I was going to say,
how many cannibals are still in Kentucky to this day?
Oh my God, dude! Well, the Appalachians hold some great wonders. I mean, if you've ever even watched the movie, there's just a TV show based off of the Appalachian mountain people of this day called The Outsiders. And it not the one with not stay cold pony boy.
No. We're talking about the ones who scare you.
Yeah, the ones that make mushroom wine up in the fucking hills and fucking
the ones who make like narcotic substances out of shit you never thought of.
Exactly, the people that the movie Deliverance was fucking based off.
Well, and even Deliverance is just the ones the suburbanites ran across on their canoe trip, right?
Right. Yeah,
like these are the people who don't come out of the hills, right?
Yeah, these aren't the people that. These are the people that speak a language that's been dead for many years.
You got to go up into the hills, and then you hear them yipping around in the undergrowth and shit. Yeah, right. Right. So this is Levi Helm. Okay, this is actually, he became known commonly as Boone Helm by his middle name. So Boone Helm, he's one of these guys who was born and raised in that kind of territory, and it says he gained his fame for what is called an opportunistic and unrepentant proclivity for the consumption of human flesh.
Okay, like, so can you let so if we were
good old long pork right there?
Yeah, let's dumb it down for those people from Kentucky.
No, so we're saying this man ate people and he liked it, and he didn't care if you knew about it either.
In layman's terms, he really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Now,
who could blame him?
And it's noted here. Okay, it's noted here.
Have you ever just nipped on the buttocks of a scared 13-year-old boy?
The right trembling buttocks. They make the best BLT.
The best BLT.
Buttocks. Buttocks, lard, and tomato.
It's like pork jowl.
Appalachian Mountains to downtown Boston.
Oh my God! Right, you go down to the Hannibal Lecter Deli.
Now it is noted. It is noted here that during this time in America, cannibalism was something that people, even in the biggest cities, people lived with the knowledge that if you were out on the prairie in the right situation, you could have to consider eating a person who died. People knew that this did happen in survival situations. However,
hey guys,
Boone Helm,
I really appreciate you just bringing me along on this trip.
However, Boone,
but I do you mind if I stand in the wagon? I'm a little too heavy to be walking all this way.
Just keep carrying
right.
Okay, but I'd really like it if you'd stop sprinkling it on me this whole way. It's getting in my eyes.
So, cannibalism was a thing that might happen, but Boone Helm was known for preparing flesh in preparation for long trips. Okay,
he packed the shit in salt and fucking wax paper.
Like he would come into a city from some wilderness trip. And he'd hang about for a month in the bars and wherever you shoot the dice. And he'd be looking around and be like, I got to go back out to California to my gold stake that I haven't seen in 3 months. And I got to get back out there and see if I got any gold. And I'm going to need something to eat. And
hey, which one of these whores has the thickest ham hocks?
Right. Well, and
Christian actually...
Carl, you look pretty tasty.
Hey there, Carl. Right. It's been a long time.
You look like you can dig trenches for about a week, and then I'd be about ready.
Hey, Carl, when was the last time you went camping?
Right. See, so this is a guy who prepares to eat people, right? So basically, this guy is born in Kentucky, which...
He's already got that going for him.
I love that during this period we use state names because even though, yes, Kentucky was a state at this time, you got to respect that everything like outside Chicago was like the Mark Twain National Forest.
I refuse.
Okay? I mean, everything.
I refuse. Okay, now hold on.
Everything. There may have been states, but there was no law. You just
and they were all
named.
They were basically like territories, and a lot of places had weird names. Like apparently, Lewis and Clark, whenever they came across Missouri, they said that the state that they were in was such a state of misery. Like it was just so the terrain brought them such misery that they literally named a state after that. Now, if that's true,
no,
just a little bit further.
It's not totally true. What happened was they said that they really said that.
I can see that
they're in a state of misery. But then Sacagawea said, "Oh yeah, we have a word like that, Missouri." And so that's how they.
I can understand that. Yeah. But now, hold on. Now, hold on. No, this is my question. Because right after Missouri, there's this little territory that they discovered that was at the time was called Manassas. But if you spell it out, It's man-asses. M-A-N-A-S-S-E-S.
Man-ass-ass.
Man-asses. So what was going on after Misery? After Misery.
Well, that's exactly what happened. Okay?
All right, explain it to me, Christian.
They're like, oh, man, we're in Misery. This is good. Sacagawea is like, yeah, we have a name for that, Missouri. So they're like, oh, that's awesome. So we're going to call it. So they get through, and next thing you know, they're feeling a little bit better. And they're like, hey, bro, we did good.
We did good. You know what we should celebrate with?
Butt stuff.
That's right. Let me get a peek at that pooper.
That was the only state.
We have a name for this. We call this man asses.
Even then, Lewis and Clark were decent guys, and they knew it was a little on the nose to expect Sacagawea to stand post for the whole camp.
Yeah,
right?
Just make sure.
So they were like, yeah, we're not going to go there and just
make sure no one comes in our tent.
Just make sure nobody enters our tent.
I can't. Lewis, Merriweather, we've been on this trail for a long time.
Yeah, right. Are you a fair weather Merriweather, or you gonna stand by me here?
I can't quit you.
So Boone Helm is born in Kentucky, but he did move to Missouri when he was a boy. Okay?
Oh.
And so he grows up apparently being encouraged from the youngest possible age to prove his strength and agility, and he would start fights and throw his Bowie knife into the ground and retrieving it from horseback at a full gallop. Okay? So this is what he does. And this is just his boyhood, okay? And when he goes
he started out rough.
Apparently the sheriff tried to arrest him once, and he walked his horse up the stairs of the courthouse and into the courtroom, and he verbally ranted at the judge, So this is a kid, clearly a kid who's just not gonna fucking listen to anybody. Okay?
Hey guys, I noticed that you guys don't really have any horse capable ramps or anything. It was pretty hard to duck underneath the doorway.
Okay, so 2 years.
Is there going to be a trough of any kind inside this courtroom? Because we're going to have to accommodate for people such as me.
So this is
my CNI horse.
This is our man of the hour. So the year before the gold rush in 1849, okay, in 1848 he marries a 17-year-old, and which is that's prairie time, so yeah, it's about right, but. They soon father a daughter, okay, and he is quickly known around the frontier neighborhood, I guess, for heavy drinking, riding his horse into the house, and beating his wife, like you do.
Yeah, it's a regular Tuesday.
But it did get so bad that his wife divorced him. Okay, it doesn't say how long they were married.
Well, come on. If you're not going to be with me during my notebook years when I'm building you a house.
Right.
How are you going to be with me, in my days where you have to clean the horse shit off the carpet?
But she gets the divorce, and his father paid for it, okay? And then having bankrupted his father and ruined...
I wish my dad paid for my divorce. Oh, shit.
Yeah, no, having bankrupted his father on this divorce and thoroughly ruining the family reputation, he then decides... to move to California. Well, time to move to California, Pops.
I'm gonna be a star, Daddy.
Yeah, right. No, I mean,
y'all gonna see my name in lights.
It's the gold rush, right? So he heads to California for gold, and as he goes along, everybody who hooks up with this guy winds up dead. I mean, he's a lot of people killing people as he goes along. And this is all just de rigueur on your way to California. I mean, people like this would roll into the mining towns and gold towns across the West all the time. And
remember, there are multiple types of fame. So you could be famous for one thing, but famous for another.
Yeah. Right. I've been making these chairs pretty good, but a lot of people just seem to be coming into my shop for my blowjobs.
So
I'm you here for a chair? You here for a blowjob? God, why does it sound like Gilbert Godfrey?
Right.
You here
to get your dick sucked? Or are you here for a chair?
That's all
you want one finger in the asshole or two?
Oh my God.
Out in Utah, they're taking 2 fingers now. It's all the rage. No, so this guy.
As soon as you come, I'm gonna scream Affleck.
This guy's organizing his first trip out west, and the guy that agrees to go with him, okay. There's 2 guys who agree to go with him, and when one of them tries to back out, Boone just gets pissed off and stabs the guy in the chest.
Yeah, this is not a guy that you just want to. You know what, man?
They have not even gone anywhere. They're just talking about going out to California. And one guy says, "Nah, you know what? This poon I'm getting here in this town's pretty good, or whatever,
Right.
and I'm going to hang out for a bit." And
Plus,
Boone,
you smell like death and
Boone
piss.
is like oath betrayer, and he stabs the dude in the chest. Okay?
We had a verbal agreement.
This is how we're kicking off this guy's national fame. All right. So then, the other guy who was going to go with him, people like get offended because he like murdered this guy in public or whatever.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I guess I could see having a problem with that. I don't know, but no, there's a local posse that forms
We got a posse.
They go and they nab Boone and
now,
put him in the asylum.
Right,
they commit him to an asylum.
For what a lot of people these days now, you guys may know Posse. You might know Tobey Maguire and fucking Leonardo DiCaprio's group back in the day. They called the Pussy Posse. But before them, posses
Tobey Maguire was never part of any
He
group.
He was. They used to hang out and they used to fucking party all the time and fucking do drugs and fucking get a shit ton of pussy. And they hung out. I think they also hung out with like Mark Wahlberg. And there was somebody else that was a part. Somebody look that up on their phone. Who was all the part of the Pussy Posse? But anyway, back before the Pussy Posse, these guys. I know it's such a fucking kiddie word for that. It sounds like they were in a clubhouse somewhere. Some no girls around. He-Man woman haters clubhouse, and they're like, yo, we call ourselves the Pussy Posse because we're always around getting pussy, and pussy rhymes with posse. We should call ourselves the Pussy Posse. That sounds like something be really fucking cool. Get us dames. We'll be drowning pussy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Toby, I know what you're saying,
but
Leo.
Mark got sick of the funk with the
kinda like
bunch.
the guy.
Mark got sick of the funk got too heavy for Mark.
Yeah,
The bunch got too funky.
You
ready for this one?
The bunch got.
You think Leonardo DiCaprio and Tobey Maguire? You think Tobey Maguire is the odd one? David fucking Blaine.
David Blaine. I don't know why, but for a second I thought you were getting ready to say David Schwimmer.
He's the guy in the Pussy Posse who can't act, so he wound up becoming a shit-ass street performer.
Right. So what do you do?
I escape from things. And then after a while, I don't. I just sort of do really weird, stupid shit for long periods of time. I'm going to stay in a tank of elephant urine for 3 days.
Right here is a picture of late 90s David Blaine, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Tobey Maguire all in a hotel room in matching robes.
Oh, my God.
The jizz at that party must have been phenomenal.
Oh my God! The way that I could smell that room from here. It smells like caviar and
smells like an Oscar.
So God,
this guy,
after maybe 20 years later.
So back to our Leo DiCaprio here of the frontier, right?
Oh, Jesus.
So this guy gets committed to an asylum, and
talking about cheap segue.
This is already after he's murdered at least one person that we know of.
Oh, no. By this time, he's murdered.
No. This is right at the beginning.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So he's in the asylum.
Oh, and dude, when he got this person, he killed him instantly. He plunged that
he just
fucker
stabbed
right
him right in the
chest. Yeah.
So then he's in this asylum.
I'm gonna poke your tits.
And to give you an idea of how asylums were run in 1849.
Yeah.
He becomes friends with the orderlies and gets them to take him on walks in the woods and shit like that. And next thing you know, hey, spoiler, he escaped, right?
Oh, I thought we were going to be like, we're going to need a new cafeteria lady.
No, he escapes from the asylum and he continues west to California. And wherever he goes, he gets into fights. He's killing people. And he'll stick around until people catch on and he hears there's a posse after him, and then he's out of there, right? And he takes off.
But all they're doing is starring in shitty movies and fucking wearing
And
robes.
that too. And he survives attacks by natives. And okay, so somewhere along the way, when his body count is somewhere in the teens, all right, somebody finally discovers him at an Indian camp and allowed him to accompany them. That's what it says. So despite having over $1,400 on his person in coin, he doesn't pay for anything.
What's that? We got to do another show on what?
We're going to have to do a whole nother show on the Pussy Posse.
Oh, yeah.
You got to be kidding me.
No, dude, you don't even know. Dude, I just
God.
So
why did I even bring it up?
Welcome to Short Attention Span Theater.
Yeah, right. There's numerous people, and we'll just say this. Kevin Connolly is in it, too.
Who?
Kevin Conley.
Kevin Connolly.
Kevin Conley. Who the hell is that?
Yeah.
Come on, guys. I'm going to show you this picture.
Oh, shit. Okay, we apologize because we're old fuckers. We don't know Kevin Conley. But so anyway, this guy, after, having been, he's a regular murderer, and yet when other people find him along the trail, going to California or whatever, yeah, sure, ride with me, whatever, Because remember, he is a cannibal and he's a murderer, but yet he's still not. This is not a time when you think about that sort of thing, right?
No.
Like you just don't. And so,
well, I mean, you probably should.
So anyway,
if you're not, there's something wrong with you. But there's not there's not a lot of bright people.
When he gets to California, he hears that he's wanted by the law because people are finally starting to communicate, and he runs off to San Francisco. While he's in California, he kills a rancher who befriended him.
Oh, the douchebag from Entourage. Yes. He's the oh god.
The secretary.
The guy. So the guy literally took
that skinny little rat dude.
Yeah. So he was like, you know what? I used to hang out with these guys. Exactly. Let's make a TV show about the time when I peaked.
He's like that.
He was not famous until.
You know what he reminds me of? He reminds me of. That's the guy that somebody tried to clone Matt Dillon, but it didn't work.
My God.
And you got Kevin, what's his face? You got that dude.
Oh, my God.
No, so this guy finally is on the run from the law in California, okay? While he's there, he kills this rancher who took him in, sheltering him from the vengeance of the law. So this is
a great way to repay the kindness of strangers.
Who not only takes people in, he knows who this guy is. He knows that the law wants this guy for multiple murder.
Oh, and he's like,
and he's like, well, but there's two sides.
There's two sides there, of course.
That's all them.
You know what? I don't really like cops either.
That's all them big city people who never had to eat somebody to get by.
We've all eaten somebody from time to time. I used to have 12 kids. Now I have a lot more than that, but I did lose a few along the way.
Right.
So you ain't never ate somebody. You're eating someone right now.
Yeah, right. That's right. So we're all eating somebody.
So even this guy taking in, this guy took in the Kentucky Cannibal, but it didn't fucking matter. Like this guy was like, no, you're on the menu, right? So as Boone is crossing the country. I mean, we're talking about a man that when one of his traveling companions became ill from the cold or the whatever, and they found this abandoned cabin. And they stopped there, and the companion says, I can't go on any further. He says, you go on ahead, right? So Boone goes on ahead, but then turns around and comes back, and he just happens to be there to hear the guy shoot himself. So the guy just shot himself. Yeah? The guy, no. And this was true. Like, Boone had...
Was it true? Because literally it was just him. We're going off of a cannibal's word.
Boone was going to travel on by himself to California. And he left the guy at this abandoned cabin, and he said, I'm going to go stop at this military fort. There's probably people there. He gets to the fort and finds that it's abandoned, and there's nobody there, no supplies. So for the time being, Boone turns around and goes back to the abandoned cabin. And when he comes back, the traveling companion's still there and he's alive. But when Boone's out back getting wood for a fire, he hears the guy shoot himself right there. So since Boone was like, well, I was heading out anyway, he ate one of the guy's legs while he was there.
Okay.
And then he wrapped up the other leg and took it with him on the way to California.
Okay, now hold on. I'm going to save the doggy bag joke here for a moment.
Oh, you always go for the doggy bag joke.
Right, of course. Dude? I mean, come on. I mean, you mind wrapping this up in paper for me?
No, you I got a long trek for you. Shirt.
But now, okay,
that's
really,
what he wrapped it up in.
Waste not, want not.
Yeah, I can understand.
Yeah,
I can understand.
Once that guy shot himself, he doesn't need that flannel anymore.
I can understand that, and that would sound completely understandable if you got caught by the authorities with a human limb that you were gnawing on.
But there were no authorities. That's a great part.
Oh, they probably was down the line. But what I'm saying is we're taking a serial killer's, cannibal's word that this guy just said, fuck it, and fucking blew his own brains out after he walked around. Or did Boone go and find a fucking fortress, find that there was no hope, no supplies, no nothing, wasted his supplies going to that place, knew that he was only going back to an area with no supplies, and did something that I'm pretty sure he's probably already done before.
And he got a big supply.
No, absolutely. What is more reasonable here? I mean, come on.
Yeah, I don't know, but when you get fresh meat just drop in front of you like that, you eat a leg and you take one for the road.
I mean,
okay, that's what
to be honest with you, if I was in the same situation and nobody would ever know, even if I had like a fucking full box of fruit roll-ups or something, I would probably still try it.
Right. So,
just saying. I'm just saying.
All right. So he continues on to California. As long
as you don't eat the brain, you're fine.
He goes on his way to California. He kills the rancher. And he runs around Oregon for a while, frequently murdering people. In 1862, after heavy drinking, he gunned down an unarmed man named Dutch Fred. I mean, god damn, he's just out on a Wednesday night for a beer and a shot. And you gotta shoot Dutch Fred.
Dutch Fred.
Saloon.
Let's
take a moment of silence for. Oh yeah, Dutch Fred.
Dutch Fred. Did we forget?
No. Yeah. Let's because poor Dutch Fred.
If it's gonna take you a minute,
running afoul of a cannibal in the night, right?
Okay. We're gonna take silence for Dutch Fred. Here we go. Nope. Okay.
Well,
that was our silence.
That was our silence.
Damn commercials. Okay.
So anyway, he kills Dutch Fred, and then while on the run,
here we go.
We're gonna miss you, Dutch Fred. You sure were good with some barbecue sauce, though.
Are we saying that he made a good barbecue sauce? He sure made a mean barbecue sauce. He went down good with it, too.
I'm talking about that flank shank, man. That was some good barbecue on that, brother.
Just suckling on them buttocks.
Right. So,
we're going back to man
okay,
yeah,
so
right.
he
we're going back
kills
to man asses.
He kills Dutch Fred at the saloon, and while he's on the run from the latest posse, he ate another fugitive who had been traveling with him, right? So obviously, it's just
was that just a moral thing?
It's just a real bad idea to travel with this guy.
He was trying to justify cannibalism at this point. He's just like, well, nobody was really going to miss him anyway.
Now get this. After all of that, the authorities capture him. He calls up his brother, Old Tex.
Calls him up on a fucking squirrel?
Yeah, one of his 12 siblings, okay?
Send this message to me, Fuzzy Nuts.
Old Tex. Hey, Old Tex.
He
asked his brother
to
bail.
Which is basically just a long branding message on the side of a cow.
No.
And then you send it southbound.
I don't think you understand. He's been murdering and eating his way across America, and now the authorities
just like Guy Fieri.
And now, And now when he's in jail,
he's fucking just killing his way to Flavor Town, baby.
Now the authorities have him, and you get a phone call. Hey, dude, they picked me up.
Hold on, the squirrel's ringing.
Right.
What did they say? It said,
think about that.
and then it scratched the shit out of my face. I'm
squeak, squeak, squeaker, squeak, squeaker, hiss, squeaker, squeak. And he calls on his brother and says, hey, they arrested me for eating people, and will you help me out? And the brother does it. Right? Get this. This.
Now, hold on.
Boone Helm's brother, Old Tex, is his name.
Old Tex Helm.
Tex Helm.
My wife's grandfather was named Tex.
The man paid off all the witnesses against Boone Helm. He paid them off. He bankrupted the family to pay off the witnesses not to testify. And Boone Helm walked free. Okay? He walked free, and he went on to repeat more of this behavior. He's finally apprehended for the last time.
So you're telling me Tex at first was just like, no, you ate people. I'm not.
No. Old Tex never had a qualm. His brother called him Old Tex. I'm in the clink.
You only ate what? How many people?
Yeah.
He just sent out a Pony Express across the entire frontier saying, if you saw my brother eat somebody, come to the house.
He gets a message to his brother, and he says, hey, they got me in the clink. Oh, they got poor old me, man. They got me locked up. And
all I did was take a couple nibbles off a couple different bodies.
Right. And Old Tex, in paying off the witnesses, that means that Old Tex was either told or he actually read something about what his brother did. Right? Because he's paying off people not to testify. So Old Tex knows exactly
he's not a cannibal.
What's
He's
up.
just kind of a foodie of sorts.
Exactly, right?
He's just a
He's
foodie.
like, look, the man's walking across the frozen tundra in this country just trying to make a living. What do you expect,
Come
right?
on, what would you rather him do? Eat people or be vegan? Come on.
Right? Yeah. So he actually walks away from that, and he goes on and gets captured for the final time up in Montana, okay? He had hooked up with this other gang that robbed banks and did shit that they thought was evil. Until this motherfucker joined their gang.
Hold on, I don't mean to derail this again. Did you just apologize to the vegans? Out of all the things that we've said on this show, you're afraid of us pissing off a bunch of malnourished.
Let me tell you something. Though. You know what you were saying earlier? About living in the zombie horde? I'm telling you what, vegans aren't violent, but they'll sneak up on you and they'll eat you. They'll eat you. Okay, exactly. They will get the last laugh. They will eat you.
I'm not
okay.
worried about the podcast.
They know you're going to drop. Oh, 3 more Mickey D's burgers, you fat fuck. Yeah, go ahead.
That's it.
And they know. Right?
That would be bad. You think there's some kind of Wicker Man ritual that goes on?
Man.
Oh,
hey,
man.
when they remade the Wicker Man, they totally made it a Wicca, specifically Wicca goddess cult, man.
Oh, wow.
Those weird vegans, you know.
That is so true.
Yeah.
It's like, can you pass a... He goes...
the
bees!
Not the bees!
Yeah. Oh, God. You mind passing the kombucha? All right. So anyway, back to
he's finally captured in Montana, where he's hooked up with some gang that thinks they're a bunch of badasses because they rob banks and shit like that. And occasionally,
bitch, I eat people.
As they ride their way out of town, this gang, they might take a Colt 45 and slap some woman on their way out of town, and they think that's really evil, right?
Yeah. And then we're so bad. We're so bad.
We're so bad. Yeah, right. And this guy comes
you're
into the
describing
gang.
them like they're just coming to town, fucking limp-handedly waving around their
and they
pistols.
rob the
Pow,
bank.
pow,
Hi,
bang,
we're here for our
bang.
bank, right? And this cannibal,
Bang, bang. Look at me in my chaps.
Hannibal Lecter's great-great-grandfather joins the gang, and is like, "Oh, boys, you're all a hoot, ain't you?" This cannibal comes in and is like, "Oh yeah,
y'all are real funny.
Yeah, you all are some funny motherfuckers. That's gonna make you taste great."
So,
later,
boys, we got this poker game going on. I met this boy outside. His name's Anton Shakur. Seems like a nice fella.
Right. So somehow, which is not specified at the moment, these Boone Helm and 4 of the gang members are arrested. And the law tries them in secret. Like, the law doesn't even give a fuck anymore. They're like,
your friends already told us everything about you.
No, this gang has been a pain in our dick for the last 6 months, and now you got that guy with you, and we know who he is. So we're just trying you here in the cell, okay? And they try them all in secret, and they sentence them all to die, okay? So Boone Helm is the guy who was led up to the scaffold, okay, and as they're slipping the noose on his neck, he's the guy I was telling you about that says, "Every man," his last words, "every man for his principles. Hurrah for Jeff Davis. Let her rip."
Good old Jefferson Davis.
Good. Hurrah for Jeff Davis. Let her rip. And he jumps off the scaffold and hangs himself. And I'm telling you what.
Hold my beer.
Now,
the South will rise again.
Here's what I take away from this, okay? Everybody always talks about, oh, yeah, you say you want to live 300 years ago because there was no weed laws and everything was great and everything was perfect and nobody fucked with you. But the truth was there was all this disease. Remember A Million Ways to Die with Seth MacFarlane? Where he's like, the black shit, right?
The black shit.
And you fart, you die from your farts,
Yeah, it's cholera.
Okay.
So everybody says, no, the reality there's dead mice in your water.
The reality is you wouldn't want to live back then. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Here we have a man who lived to be 36 years old when he was hung. In his 36 years on the prairie, I guarantee you, yes, he was an unspeakably evil piece of shit.
Oh, yeah.
But this man, in this hard, brutal, unscientific, cold time, that motherfucker woke up whistling every goddamn morning of his life. Okay, that is. I mean, all you had to do was decide you're going to get on a horse and go to California and find some gold. And along the way, I am just gonna. It is my world all the time. Like, so, holy shit, man.
Yeah, you got a really good point with that because I'm sitting here thinking. You said that everybody, there ain't no laws, you ain't got nothing like that out in the prairie and whatnot back in this time. What people aren't realizing is, no, you don't want to live back then because you said,
Cash. Sorry, my dog is just sitting here scratching away, and I'm sure you can hear
the late alarm. Hey, motherfucker.
Yeah, that's my half basset, half black lab dog telling us that we need
to. Basically, you were saying, there really ain't no laws, nobody fucks with you back. That's where it's you got it completely sideways and completely wrong. You don't want to live back in that time because no one fucks with you. Because back then, everyone fucks with
everyone
you.
Everything
fucks with you.
But what I'm saying is
the land alone, if not the people, if not the wildlife, the harsh conditions of the fucking world around you will fucking rape you until you are nothing.
So what I'm saying, my
tent on your horse's ass.
Oh, so my point is, if I did live back then, I hate to tell you, I'd probably be this sick motherfucker right here, okay? Because this is a dude.
Talking about Boone?
Boone was never like worried about where he was going to sleep. Boone was never what he was going to eat.
Oh, the world
Boone never stressed out about a goddamn thing in this world on the frontier. Okay,
he was like he was a dudist through and through. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Did not have a care in the world.
I'm not saying he was good. I'm saying if I had to live in this awful time, I got to tell you, This right here is a guy who just didn't sweat the details, man. I mean, he didn't feel that he was put upon by the man. He didn't feel that he was a second-class citizen. This is a guy who walked across the country and made it his world every goddamn day, okay?
And
every day.
We all should strive to do that every day. Minus the eating.
Well,
come on.
I mean, can't do that today, but that's the whole point of like debating how awful was this time. Well, it all depended what you were willing to learn. Okay, what's the family? Ma Bender. Okay, Ma Bender was all about this. She was just like, look, we got to make some coin here. Okay, let's start whacking some of these people. You know?
Absolutely. This whole idea of a B&B out in the middle of nowhere is not going to make it anywhere.
Yeah, I'll tell you
I understand that you want to show off your doilies.
Let's just tell people there's great stuff here, and when they get here, let's just feed on them. Okay, that's how it's going to work.
Well, everything's down in the basement. I got this nice little stone slab.
Yeah, this is what it was like to make it in the American frontier.
Oh, absolutely. So it was terrible.
Yeah, you could be one of the people that Boone stops off at, and you're just an honest farmer, and you're just raising kids on the frontier, and you're good God-fearing people.
Oh my
God! Until somebody eats your ass.
Yeah.
Okay, and Boone. He might have jumped off that scaffold and they might have caught him and he was destined to die. Okay, fine. But he jumped off that scaffold. Let her rip.
Oh, my God, yeah. Oh, my God.
Hooray for Jeff Davis. Jeff Davis forever. God damn it. Yeah. Yeah, man.
Because he fought for he's going to make America great again.
1864.
Jefferson Davis, 2020.
Don't forget, Boone Helms was hung the year before Jefferson Davis surrendered.
Yeah,
so
I know.
when he died, the South was on top, boy. They were on fire, and they were going to win it all, man. It was going to happen. You know.
Long story short, Heathens. Before we close this thing out, what we're
like being a Seahawks fan.
What we're trying to say is, let's make a petition. Let's bring back cannibalism.
Hey, cannibalism. Look. Let's just be honest here. There's a lot of vitamins and minerals we're passing up. Okay?
And there's a lot of us just walking around. There's no food. There's no problem with feeding the homeless. There's no food shortage. There's nobody going. There's no starving children if you just lose your morals. There's plenty of meat just walking around.
And also, to leave us with a great comment thread, I'm going to introduce this, too. Don't forget, we need lots of kids around because when the zombocalypse happens, your most valuable resource is children. That is your the most valuable thing you can take with you into the zombie wasteland because, look...
Okay, Coney.
In the farmhouse, when the zombies are breaking down the walls and you and your group and the kids are trying to get away, remember this.
Just toss a little nugget.
Remember this.
Okay.
If you die, the adults, die and fall to the zombies, there is no way those children are going to survive. They will die from exposure or being run down. Throw the kids to the zombies. Okay? Throw the kids to the zombies.
What is
get
this,
out of
feast?
Throw the kids to the zombies. Get out of the farmhouse. You can make more kids later. Okay? You can always make more kids. All right? Don't kid yourself.
There's kids in the chocolate.
Don't kid yourself. Don't kid yourself. Kids are a valuable resource for a reason. Okay, folks? When the zombocalypse happens... Okay, and from there, cannibalism starts to look a lot more reasonable after that.
Oh, man. Oh, dude. You remind me of that douchebag, and there's this cult horror film franchise. I guess there's numerous ones of them. It's called Feast. And Jason Mewes was even in it. Yeah, Jay from Jay and Silent Bob was in it.
Nugans.
Yeah. Oh man, and he was a tasty treat too. But in the second one, there's this guy. He's got a baby. He's being chased by a bunch of the monsters, and he's running. And he's looking at the monsters. He's looking at the baby, and he just goes, "Sorry, baby!" And he throws it up in the air and keeps running. And the baby goes splat,
dude.
They're on the fucking pavement, and it's still just sitting there giggling and laughing and everything. And then all these
fucking
no, dude.
Tear him up.
We need to
like
remember
a fucking moon pie fat camp.
I just want to throw this out there real quick to all the listeners out there. I know we're just a little small podcast for right now, but
ooh, somebody has big hopes.
Oh yeah,
dream big, my friend.
God.
I do want to bring it up Jason Muse. I do want to give a big shout out to the podcast Jay and Silent Bob Jay and Silent Bob Get Old.
Jay and Silent Bob Get Old. You go to Australia there, you get a little Catherine Knight, and you fucking
Jay and Silent Bob get out and return to retire to the outback.
Yeah,
Jay and Silent Bob, they go off and get a better ball and go down to the Dillywiggy. I don't know what the fuck any of that was.
Jay and Silent Bob Get Old, and it's a podcast with Kevin Smith and Jason Muse, and it basically goes over their entire life, and it is an epic.
Well, that's awesome.
Podcast.
That's awesome.
It is
I'm sure they're going to appreciate us plugging them and giving them
right.
all the listeners.
We're going to get the big bump now.
We did have, our second
HBH
episode.
is due for the Kevin Smith bump.
Oh
now.
yeah, because we did get we did get a total of 12 listeners on our second episode.
Which means he must
crank
have
the
at
numbers,
least,
bitches.
He must have at least one listener who's heard the words "heavy breathing heathens." So
Oh, are you talking about by the law of six?
Right.
It's
right,
it's like. And they tell two friends,
So-
and they tell two friends.
What?
That means
hey,
he
look,
at least has
heathens.
two friends. He at
Look,
least has two
heathens.
friends.
We make jokes about that, but he was in St. Louis last weekend.
Was he?
Yeah, he was. He was out at Umsel at the Blanche Two Hill Center. But
I got a cousin. I got a cousin that I
heathens,
have in
what
New
we're
Jersey.
trying to say is, it's getting cold out there, and the world's a crowded place. Okay,
Maybe it's cold outside.
You need to remember that long pig is going to be out there on the menu.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's what we're really saying.
Man,
Eat your neighbor. Okay.
you gotta.
But
don't
hey,
covet your neighbor
let's start with the
unless-
rich. Okay, no, let's start with the rich. Eat the rich.
Eat the rich.
Eat the rich is absolutely
rich.
something I'm behind.
Won't you
And-
eat my neighbor?
Yeah.
Oh,
you know
God.
what? Eat
Yeah.
the rich, baby.
Oh, please do. They're all full of nasty meats too. They eat all the trash
chocolate.
stuff. They eat kid chocolate.
We need to. You know
do
what?
Spirit dinners.
And Elon Musk is starting to
There's
tip.
children in the chocolate.
Elon Musk is starting to tip into his crazy period. We need to just kill him and roll him up in a burrito.
Oh, Jesus, man.
Yeah.
He'd
I
rather
know.
be rolled up in a joint now.
Yeah, but
No, he's not.
we could
my
bake
God.
him.
Come on,
No.
we're not bringing
No.
it on another fucking podcast. Come
waiting
on.
for that.
We are going to bake him in edibles. We will make the best edibles
Really?
out of Elon Musk.
You
Yeah,
gotta
yeah,
some
yeah.
some
Yeah.
weed infused jerky.
Hey man, if
Where are
we're
we
gonna
going
come,
with this?
if we're gonna bring cannibalism back, we are putting weed in the meat. Okay, absolutely. We are
right.
weed infused cannibalism. Yes,
Okay.
because that's what it'll make it. That's what will make it okay for everybody.
Yeah, maybe.
That's
Well,
how
there's
everybody
weed in
will
it.
get on board. It's
There's
like,
weed
yeah,
in it, so that
it's,
means-
it's people, but
It's got to be 420 kosher, man.
It's people, but god damn it, taste that banana bread, dude. I'm not shitting you.
I will admit, it is made out of children. This is
taught us to grow whenever we grow.
when you have.
Right.
Well, you got to think. We have orphanages that are overflowing. All right.
And hey, shout out to the readers. Jonathan Swift said it in A Modest Proposal, right? You got to read. You haven't read Jonathan Swift? Jonathan
talking
Swift's
about?
A Modest Proposal. It's this satirical essay that he submitted in complete seriousness to the British one year, to the British literary community, where he's because there was all this anti-Irish racism. So he submits this proposal. It's just like, look, if you think there's too many Irish and they're filthy brats here, then let's just eat them. But he's real subtle and clever about it in the essay.
We could
And
just
it's-
fucking eat
dude,
the Irish.
read A Modest Proposal by Jonathan Swift. It's so
You
brilliant.
are one big Irish dude, man, and you
Yeah,
could probably last us for. I could spend a winter inside
Can you imagine the haggis?
Can
Can you imagine the haggis
Oh,
that
what a
we will
pickup
get?
line is that? I could.
don't-
Hey, are you a
I'm talking-
tauntaun? Because I
I'm
could
talking
spend a winter
like
in you.
Tauntaun haggis, bitches,
God, dude.
Which,
oh,
let's
God.
not forget our Star Wars listeners and just remind them that, How hot is a tauntaun inside? Well, actually, it's only lukewarm.
Oh, if we only had the soundbite of crickets. You guys hear that? You guys hear that?
Right.
It sounds like a train coming to bring us right back on track to New Mexico, where we have a good old man named Charles Kennedy.
We're not even done either. I thought we were totally getting rushed out.
We're not even done.
I thought we were getting closing out, man.
You know, we could close it out. We could close it. We could say
no, fuck that. I'm totally into it now. You had me at New Mexico.
All right, well, we're down in New Mexico, man. Albuquerque,
because that's where you take the left.
That's where you take a left. That's where you take the left turn.
We take it down. A bad left
turn.
All
right, in between the towns of Elizabethtown and Taos lived a man named Charles Kennedy. Now, like I told you earlier,
goddamn Kennedys.
Now, like I told you earlier, my stories
no relation
were more,
to the East Coast Kennedys.
Yeah, yeah, the Kennedys. Yeah, this is another dead Kennedy for you. Yeah, fucking. Yeah. This was the original dead Kennedy.
This was the dead Kennedy.
Yeah, this is the OG dead Kennedy. He was a mountain man, living near Eagle's Nest in New Mexico. Kennedy was known to rob and kill a number of passing travelers as they made their way to Taos from Elizabethton. Now, like I was telling you in the beginning of the story, I was going family style with my stories. Not like how they're talking about in a sexual form. We're not going family style on them. Right. But
a game the whole family can play.
We are the aristocrats. But now, unlike the last family, the Benders, where everybody was really on board, Charles, the Kennedys, they kind of all knew what was going on inside the house, but they didn't really shine to it as together like the Benders did. They weren't necessarily a Brady Bunch or a Partridge Family. Then not everybody was technically working in sync.
Who would have eaten each other in the wilderness? Okay, yeah, this was Partridge Family totally would. That little redhead kid would have been the first to go.
Probably.
Okay, Danny Bonaducci never would have made
it. Danny Bonaducci.
Okay, Danny Bonaducci. He was a weird looking little bastard.
No, this family was more like a Jackson 5. This was if we could
get the stew on.
Yeah, that's right. No. I told you.
And Joe Jackson sitting at the table. Heat that meat up. You cook that meat twice. Cook it like you mean it.
God, no, man. Yeah, no, that's like we were talking about. Everybody during this time, they would people were basically just walking targets at this time, and that's the way that Charles Kennedy made his living out there. He was a mountain man, big old burly bearded guy. He owned a Traveler's Rest, which was basically kind of like if you ever watched The Hateful Eight, it was kind of like Minnie's Haberdashery.
Yeah. That's how they get you.
That's right. Yeah, that's how they get you. That's how they get you. Blizzard's rolling in.
Right. Oh, that weather looks bad.
That's right. Why don't you come on in and put your hat on the wall?
Right. Put your feet up by the
Why is there so many hats on the wall? Some people just seem to leave them behind.
We love hats here, sir.
Absolutely.
We love the hats.
None are for sale. It's more of a collection.
We collect them.
Well, the thing about Charles... he did a lot of things. He would do the same thing as the Benders. He would bring in weary travelers that were coming by. They would come into the place. Get yourself some food. Try the stew. Don't worry about what it's made out of. Just take a nice long rest. Would you like a glass of brandy? This went on for a number of years, and it.
Yeah, but how does he dispatch the lodgers? How does he do away with them?
Well, that's the thing. He would normally just fucking shoot him in the head.
Oh, really? Oh, well, he's fairly humane.
Yeah, unlike the Benders who would smash him in the fucking face with the hammer, slit their throats.
It's basically like slaughterhouse rules.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there was a few different times.
Of him, though. Just shoot him.
There was a few different times that he did wind up going off and getting some
getting a little bit messy.
It's funny they shoot him. So many of them shoot him in the head or damage the skull, though. Because wouldn't you think cannibals would have figured out how good brain is? Like brain's supposed to be really good.
Now,
right?
see, that's the thing, though. I mean, you don't want to know how much I've looked into cannibalism, dude. That's a scary subject, and that'll be another episode of the Heavy.
Yeah, maybe the podcast is already on numbered time.
Yeah, because I don't want to further incriminate myself for possible future activities. Anyway, when you eat human brain, humans are okay to eat. Apparently, they say that the meat will give you the shakes, and amongst other diseases. However, it's really only if you eat the human brain. Kind of like when cows eat other cow brains and stuff like that, you get mad cow disease. It's kind of like the human form of that. You get all frothy at the mouth. You fucking start shaking.
Because you're not insane enough that you ate someone's brain. There has to be a disease that results from it.
Exactly. Yeah. There's many of them, actually, even parasites and stuff. Right. There were a number of different people who had escaped Charles Kennedy, such as a Ute Indian woman actually escaped from them. But one of the times that actually led Charles Kennedy to his
those
demise.
2 Utes that escaped them.
Yeah,
those 2 Utes.
Yeah, 2 Utes.
Yeah, the Utes.
Ute over there, and Ute over there. Yeah.
No, never mind. All right. Yeah. We love Cousin Vinny. All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
fucking. No, where were you going with it?
Cousin Vinny. You don't remember that from Cousin?
No,
my
I don't
cousin.
remember. I haven't seen My Cousin Vinny in for so long, man.
Oh my god!
And every time I get that and 8 heads in a duffel bag, fucking mixed up all the time.
Ladies and gentlemen, I bet he's never seen My Cousin Vinny.
I have seen My Cousin Vinny.
2 Utes.
I have seen My Cousin Vinny.
But anyway, this Ute woman escapes.
Am I funny to you?
This Ute woman escapes Charles Kennedy, right?
Okay, yeah. Well, no, that was one of them. But the thing that actually brought him down to his demise, since we're working with borrowed time right now, and we're coming close to the end of this podcast, I'll cut it down to the time his worst event.
Oh yeah, lay it out.
So. And it's kind of comical.
Comical.
Comical. Yeah, my bad. I'm wrong with symbology here. Fucking my wordalisms. My dictionary didn't come in this week. My Dickcyclopedia. So they got a person that comes in. Guy comes up to the haberdashery or whatever. Fucking puts his hand on the wall. Goes walking around. Mom and dad. Mom and son not looking too happy, not too happy with everything with Pa. I'm assuming Pa probably woke up with a drunken stew, decided to beat everybody up, before eggs in the morning, and everybody was kind of still steaming since then.
Right.
So the traveler comes in, he asks him, he's like, "So, you guys ever get any Indians around here?" Yep, that's my kid screaming downstairs wanting to watch a zombie movie. Anyway, yeah, you guys get any Indians out there? And just like my son screamed up, decided to pop up, Charles's son goes off and pops off at the mouth and says, "Well, of course we do. Can't you smell the one that Pop put under the floor?"
Nice kid. Nice kid. Just give it away. Yeah, sure.
Can't you smell the shit-covered engine underneath the floor?
Can't you smell the one we just buried? Yeah, thanks, kid.
So, of course, that didn't go over so well at all with Papa Kennedy.
Right.
And he decided to kill his fucking son and the traveler.
Well, clearly. I mean, if you can't depend on your son to that degree, then obviously.
He straight up Marvin Gaye his son.
Yeah.
Right there, in front of the traveler, and then proceeded to kill the traveler.
Right. Well,
he got it on with
he that's right. Bow, 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 bow.
No, I mean
really
because
trying,
no, I could see that. Okay, long as my
trying
son
to blow your brains out for so long.
Long as my son gave it away.
That's right.
As my son gave it away, we'll just get right to this, I guess.
Yeah. Basically.
Right. So he kills his son.
And then kills the traveler.
Right.
Now,
and didn't he have a wife too in this house?
Oh, thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah.
Because lo and behold, the whole time that this is happening, who's a bystander that's just standing by watching this whole thing go down?
old Ma Kennedy.
Yeah.
And she is
his mother or his wife?
His wife.
Okay.
His wife. And she is flipping the fuck out.
Really?
Yes.
This is like John Wayne Gacy, like she had no idea he did this or what?
Well, no. Yeah, it's definitely the fact that that he had killed her son, or their child. So she, obviously having problems with this, decides that she's done with Charles. Charles is like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, woman. Just get in the corner.
Because she knew they were eating people before this. Right?
Of course.
Yeah, okay. So this was the line.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so now you killed my meat.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Do you know if, did they eat their son?
Well, hold on. No, we don't know. I don't believe
did they like Titus Andronicus this shit or what?
I don't believe they had the chance to. Because what Charles did was he nailed the front door shut. Nailed the windows shut so that way Ma couldn't escape. And then he decided to get blind drunk to forget the occurrence of that day.
Right.
While this happened and when he finally passed out, Ma climbed up the chimney and out to safety.
Sure.
She went reverse Santa.
That's right. She reverse Santa her way.
Yeah,
she Kris Kringled her way. Shit. That's right. Fucking, she Mary Poppins her way straight the fuck out.
She gets out and what? Turns him in.
And turns in her own husband. Comes in, tells everybody. She runs down to the closest town, tells everyone what's going on. The people come out there. They get Charles. They search through the house, and they find bones in almost every single one of the. They find skeletons beneath the house. They found a skull. Nearby the location, when they came walking up, they found a skull just out being bleached by the sun. When they got there, Kennedy was still drunk, was quickly found and taken into custody. He was given a pretrial in October of 1870. There were a few witnesses that were there and had testified that they had seen Kennedy shoot one of the travelers. Then court apparently ordered that Kennedy had be held for the actions of his crime in front of a grand jury, but rumors began circulating that Kennedy's lawyer was going to get him off. And, of course, we can't have that, so we formed another posse.
A pussy posse.
That's right. Tobey Maguire came riding into town.
We called Tobey Maguire and that little rat-faced dude from Entourage.
Right. We couldn't...
And then poof, out of the smoke comes David Blaine.
Yeah, that's right. But Leo Canardo didn't show up because he's got a life.
He's out fighting the bear.
Yeah. Right. Well, Leo was busy getting raped by a bear, but
and escaping.
We did find David Blaine.
Everybody comes in with David Blaine's got bladed throwing cards.
No, we rolled into town just as David Blaine's coming out of a block of ice in Flagstaff. So.
Oh man. Well, they say that after 3 days after he was caught, and they knew that his lawyer was going to go off and literally buy his freedom because that same shit happened back then. We gathered a little posse and they decided to get themselves some frontier justice. They snatched Kennedy out of the jail. The companions threw a rope around his neck and dragged him behind a horse up and down Main Street until long after he was dead. His body was not allowed by the townspeople to be buried in a Catholic cemetery and was interred outside the cemetery boundaries.
Right. In the Potter's Field.
Oh, man, I don't even think... I could see the Pisser's Field.
Yeah. And see, that was the point we were making earlier, is that this is like, if you've seen A Million Ways to Die in the West, the comedy with Seth MacFarlane. Okay?
Oh, beautiful.
So he's talking in that early scene about how there's a million ways to die in the West, and you die from this and that and the black shit and whatever, and that's what we talk about, how awful it was. But this is a man who was so terrible that the town specifically wanted to have a parade dragging the dude's corpse up and down Main Street. Hooray, hooray, we're all off the menu. So that was kind of what you had to do to stand out You know,
Oh,
you weren't John Wayne saving a town. No. You were the guy who was such a depraved, filthy fucking animal that they dragged you up and down Main Street.
Oh, yeah. You had to do some serious stuff for you. You had to come walking into town and forget that you still had the severed head of the prostitute you killed from the town over hanging off of your dick.
Right.
Oh, sorry, guys. This is embarrassing.
Right. Or the first
shucks.
The first Harp brother that they caught in the end.
Christian.
The first
Harp. I thought you said Hart.
The first Harp brother that they caught. They cut his head off and they stuck it on a spike outside the town.
That's right. There's actually a road that's named after that called Harp's Head Road.
And they got the marker there, and they said this is where they stuck his head. Right.
That sounds like a badass band name, man.
Yeah, Harp's Head Road, man. Shit, yeah.
A lot of shit went down Harp's Head Road.
Yeah, well, I don't twang that much.
I don't either, but that does sound like something that
no,
I could see that.
That's
see that.
the kind of person that like made the headlines. You know, that was
absolutely.
the real West.
Absolutely. And the thing is, we're not even touching. We aren't even scratching the
We should
surface.
come back to the old West because
we will.
Fun ones.
We will,
there's,
and like just like the Vikings episode, we're gonna have to go. Like I honestly think that we should probably do another Vikings episode. We'll layer this one.
You know what?
Like a parfait.
You know what? Or if we come back to the West, there were these two Mexican sisters who ran a whorehouse down in Mexico.
Really, I'd love to hear
about
that.
And it was called the Angel Ranch, and these two are literally the Guinness World Record holders for being a serial murdering team.
You got to
they have the actual world record, these two women, and they ran this brothel and hotel down in Mexico or something. And I think they estimates were like they nabbed 91 people before they were done or something like that. These two sisters, they just lived off of harvesting people, and stealing and whatever.
It's apparently was a lucrative business,
and it wasn't even that long ago. I think they got sentenced in like 1964. We're talking like 20th century and shit.
Oh, dude. Well, up until people got their hands on or wrapped around DNA science, fucking we it was still easy to fucking get that shit up.
So yeah, this was a story I ran across
get away
looking
with.
At sickos from America's history, and
we should definitely talk about that.
Because that's the kind of shit I do in the dark.
Well, like I said, we're all definitely flagged simply just because of this podcast.
Right.
But
that's the heavy breathing I do. Yeah, I'd love to do that if we come back to the West, because this is fun. I love reading about the.
Oh man,
how bad it really did get.
We haven't even gotten into the worst ones. This is just kind of like a little bit of a teaser, an appetizer, if you will, coming onto the next 2-hour teaser. Yeah. Coming up to the next time that we go off and do this. I mean, we have people that are simply even known as the Servant Girl Annihilator. That's one that we're going to be getting into.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. One of my favorites also, Madame Delphine Lalaurie. And if you are a fan of American Horror Story, you would know her as being played by the infamous Kathy Bates, the unsinkable Molly Brown. I fucking love that woman. I would eat fucking cornbread between her toes. Not in a sexual way.
Which will also be another show.
Oh,
we do our fetish week.
That'll be it's not even a fetish thing. That's a respect thing. If she asked me to fucking eat,
trust me, there's at least
of fried green tomatoes in between my butt crack, I would.
Trust me, there's at least
I would.
There's
I
at
respect
least
that woman.
There's at least 3 websites specifically for cornbread between the toes. Okay, so I'm just saying.
Is that?
No, dude, it's a
you know
fucking
who would
internet.
know? Quentin Tarantino.
Rule 34.
Never question the internet.
No, we have. There's so many that we get into, and the thing is, we could get into H.H. Holmes, which would be a complete episode on its own.
And you know what? God damn it, that should be. You know what? That should be our retirement plan. You and I are gonna find the funds to build a replica of H.H. Holmes' house.
Oh my God!
We'll build it in Chicago, right?
With the greased chutes.
And there'll be fun slides. We'll use the colored shit from the McDonald's playground.
We'll make a fun house. We'll make like an adult playhouse that's a fucking H.H. Holmes. Find a way to get out of the safe before you die from cyanide poisoning.
Escape rooms.
Fucking my God, that would be so.
And then in the rooms where he would gas people, we'll just have like perfumes or fart spray.
There is somebody making millions of dollars off of the ideas that we come up with.
Because that is trademark for HBH right now.
All they have to do is just be like McDonald's whorehouse. Come down the fun slides.
No, fuck that.
Right.
Hey, no, HBH is doing the H.H. Holmes replica house. Fuck all of you.
The HBH Holmes.
Fuck all HBH Holmes.
Yeah, the heavy breathing heathen Holmes.
Heavy breathing heathen Holmes.
We'll make a bunch of them. It'll be a whole chain, and we'll advertise it as our own realty company.
Fuck all of you. We own it.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, guys.
Yeah, until we get that place built, all we got to say is keep on breathing, heathens.
Until next time.